Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
Anytime a poll comes out asking people what are the top issues in this region, taxes are the top three.
We put together the Center for Cost-Effective Government in early 2012 to bring together business leaders and community leaders throughout Long Island to create our own force on behalf of the taxpayer. There are a lot of big spending interests out there that have their lobbyists, so we wanted to make sure that the average taxpayer was heard.
And the reality is that we have some significant systemic problems in government and in our country. And a lot of those problems have to do with ignorance.
You know, you can count on your one hand the number of true fiscal conservatives who you knew would be there with you when you were promoting something that was taxpayer friendly. And Tom was one of those individuals. And when I saw that he was putting in a package of bills to enhance government transparency, it was right up my alley and exactly what this organization is all about.
In 2003, Suffolk County's contribution to the New York State Pension Fund was $13 million. This year, our required contribution, which we didn't pay, our required contribution was roughly $230 million.
I've introduced a number of budget amendments or a number of amendments that deal with our budget process. The first of which says that the whole process should take place out in the open, and that's really the crux of what we're trying to do here, to try to make the process more transparent. Presently what they do is they take 9 legislators, they put them in the basement, and they come up with a bill that amends the county's $2.8 billion budget. I think that's fundamentally wrong. It should all take place out in the open where the taxpayers and all of the affected parties can take part in the process. I was up for re-election. It was election night, Tuesday night. I get the budget amendment on my smartphone. When do we vote on that amendment? The day after Election Day. When we vote on these amendments, we should vote on them no later than the day before Election Day. We are voting on the county's tax levy that day. So we're voting on whether or not people's taxes in Suffolk County go up or down or stay the same. And right now we're doing it the day after Election Day. I think people want to know when they go into the voting booth how their legislators voted.
This legislator wants this road project and that legislator wants that road project. And you may think, well, this one's worthy, but these other 3 are not, and that one's worthy, but those 2 are not. You'd like to vote on them one at a time on the merits, and you can't.
I was extraordinarily frustrated where I would put in a very lean budget, and then I would see legislators add everything in the kitchen sink into the amendments to balloon my budget out of control. I would thereafter individually line item veto all of these extra matter that was put into the budget. And then, as Tom noted, in one fell swoop, in one vote, the legislature would override it all. And legislators were being put in a very precarious situation of either voting yes for all of it or no for none of it. And ultimately, they were passing it all. We want to go back to a system where it's individual line item vetoing. Each one would be on the merits. If you think this one is worthy, override. If you don't, then don't add it to the budget. This would save taxpayers a great amount of money.
Obviously, you're fighting for the right things, which make to be common sense, but yet they're not becoming very visible. Are you frustrated as well, and how do you see maybe getting around that?
You know, Tom has an uphill battle, and I think the challenge is for him, how does he educate the general populace so that they realize that their tax dollars are not only being misrepresented, misspent, but also potentially not as openly as it should be.
Across the country, 94% or so of incumbents get reelected, and partly that's because they make the rules of when they vote on budgets, when the voters get to know information and what have you. So of course their interest is in self-preservation. It is getting reelected, and it isn't always in the best interest of the taxpayers.
I think we're all on the same page, wanting to get some change. It doesn't come easy, but it starts with getting a legislator who will put in a bill that we can rally around. We will keep the folks informed as to when the hearings will come up, where they can make a personal presence and shout to the heavens that the system needs to be reformed, and they can support bills that Legislator Cilmi is promoting and the other important taxpayer agenda items that we have within our umbrella of the Center for Cost-Effective Government.